Hello, friends of the internet. It's Chris Wood from Rising Phoenix YouTube channel. My channel is a mental health channel, specifically around PTSD, anxiety, depression, as well as occupational stress injuries falls all into that same category. And my goal is to serve you beautiful people of the internet who are struggling or know somebody that's struggling and needs a bit of help. I'm hoping to be able to provide some tools, a little bit of wisdom, knowledge from my experience, and what I've learned over the years with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. So today what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about anxiety. And I am hoping that you're able to find some kind of peace in some of the tools that I'm going to provide to you for triggers that would happen wherever you may be in the world, whether you're home, whether you're out with friends, whether you're at the grocery store.
Anxiety is a tricky little beast, isn't it? It can just come in whenever the hell it wants to, with no warning, and now you are a blithering whatever on the ground, right? So let me tell you a quick story. So I just recently had surgery on my left wrist, and I had a follow-up appointment in the city, which was about an hour and a half away to get to my appointment. So I was a little bit anxious already. So I was anxious for two reasons. One, I was worried about my wrist and where it was at and whatnot. And my second worry was going back to the hospital that I was committed to for 7 weeks when I was really sick. Probably more so that, which was causing me a lot of anxiousness, a lot of anxiety. And I was really trying not to let it get to me and being aware of, my feelings and whatnot. But it did. It did. So this is what happened. I ended up at the wrong hospital. Go figure. I had been to that hospital before for other reasons, so I didn't think anything of it. And so I went there, went to get a parking pass and, then went in and answered all the COVID questions. I'm sitting there waiting patiently, really working on my groundedness because I was feeling the anxiousness just go up. And I'm like, they haven't called my name yet. Like, what's going on, So she called everybody, the nurse called everybody, and then whoever they didn't call, line up. So I did. And then she told me I was at the wrong hospital. Oh boy. So she was nice enough to call over to the hospital I was supposed to go to, which was where I was committed for 7 weeks, and let them know that I was running a little late. So with that information, I get back to the vehicle, and Wendy's waiting for me, my partner in the vehicle, and I'm telling her this, and she's like, oh no. So we end up driving to the hospital that I need to be at. And, I know the city somewhat well. I mean, but I really rely on Google Maps to get me there. However, my Google girl was providing information just a little bit too quick. So when I was getting to the street that I needed to turn on, she's telling me, like, right at the intersection, why, Google girl, why? So what do you think that does to my anxiety? So now I am very anxious. The radio is turned off, and I am sending lovely energy to Wendy as she's sitting there trying to figure out where we're going. And I get to the point of snapping. I'm snapping now at my partner, and I'm basically my inside voice is coming out. I'm starting to swear because I know I'm late, and I don't like to be late for things. I want to be there on time because it's really important to me to respect that somebody's waiting for me. So I expect to be there early to make sure that I'm there on time. So that went to shit in the handbasket. So I finally get there. I am like up to here. I'm not able to find a parking space, so I just park right in front of the emergency area where there's at least 8 ambulances and a couple of police cars. But at this point, I'm like this. So I know I need to get to this appointment as quickly as I can because now I'm like a half an hour late, right? And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh God, I've come all this way and I'm not going to get seen. And I'm not going to find out what's going on with my wrist. So I'm just like, bah, 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 bah. And I was just I was like smoke coming out my head. So I would call this cop mode. I've called this cop mode for many years. But what it is really is just avoidance. I just put the blinders on and just focused to get from my vehicle to the front doors of the hospital to get in. So I didn't even think, I didn't hear anything. My senses were pretty much shut off, and that's what I did. It worked for the time being. And then I basically ended up going where I needed to go. I'm waiting in line, and it wasn't a very long lineup to basically go through registration and whatnot. But the poor girls that were the intake workers, or whatever you want to call them, looked so stressed out. And I overheard one of the patients basically saying, well, he was going on about, how sore his thumb was and he can't sleep and da-da-da-da-da. And he just basically venting to this woman. And you could tell she couldn't give two shits about what this guy was saying. I think maybe it was just, she's just had enough. It's like midday and, So when I got to her, I thought, well, maybe it might be a good idea if I change my state of mind right now, because I'm way up to here, and it may help me to talk to the intake worker there, just to have a casual conversation, to get my mind out of it. So that's what I did. I talked to her. They were both wearing, there was 2 intake ladies there, and they were wearing frocks. They were like from like basically, nurses that work on the newborn floor. The baby floor, I call it. And it was Winnie the Pooh, and I think the other one was like a SpongeBob type thing. And I just thought that was quite hysterical, that they're wearing these cute little frock things. So I said, hey, I really like the shirts that you 2 are wearing. It's nice to see some humor there. And they both just changed their state of mind just like that, just by complimenting them. And they were both talking to me, and it was no big deal that I was a half an hour late. Go figure. I know that I've gone to my doctor's office and I've been 15 minutes late, and I lost my chance to see my doctor. So I was really grateful that I was able to get in, and I was grateful that I was able to cheer up a couple of essential workers, and it actually made me feel better. So I got a good thumbs up from the surgeon. So everything is going great with my wrist, and moving on. So that, so basically I've been on this journey for probably about 2.5 years now. And I've come to learn through counseling, through treatment. I went to 2 treatment centers in that time frame. Lots of work with psychiatrists and that sort of thing. And also some self-help work and group work and all of that. I've found certain tools that I can utilize for anxiety. And hey, if they work, then why not use them, right? Why not use them? So what I'd like to do is I'd like to share with you 5 tools that I use for anxiety. So the first one that I want to talk to you about is box breathing. It's really like a simple little meditation to quiet your mind, quiet your heart, and it allows you to come back down into a grounded state. So how it works is you just release your breath, and then you inhale for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then exhale for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you do it all again. And I would do box breathing probably maybe 3 to 5 times or longer if I need to, just to get myself back down. I've actually watched, with my heart rate, I've watched how my heart rate has dropped, and wearing a heart rate monitor, and my heart rate probably went down about 10 to 15 beats per minute when I was in an anxious state just using box breathing. So I know that it works. It works for me. It's just a question if it's a tool that you would like in your toolbox. So that's box breathing. The next tool that I will use has to do with CBT, or dialectical behavior therapy. So how it works is you're using the concept of reasonable emotion to describe a person's thoughts. I utilize a wise mind as a tool to decrease the anxiety. And how I use that is through a coping statement. So what I am doing is I am thinking a certain way, which is causing me to, like, using my emotions. My emotions are coming up and out, and that's causing the anxiousness. So what I will do is I will stop my thought process, and I will think of something that will get me out of that particular trigger that is sort of relating to what I'm thinking about and feeling. To give you an example, say I was driving on the highway, and I happened to come across, this just happened actually maybe a few weeks ago. I'm driving along the highway, heading home, and in the southbound lane, I see a vehicle. Looked like it was going to turn off, but there was nowhere to turn off. So I just thought it was just turning off, and for whatever reason, just to park. But it didn't do that. It actually went into the ditch, and then it just ripped up, flew into the air, probably did about 3 to 4 complete 360s, and then landed on the top. And so I kind of froze as I'm driving. But one good thing is that, and I'm heading in the northbound lane, right? So I'm not even going in the same direction. There happened to be a police car, literally like 2 cars in front of me. So thank God they saw it, and they got off the highway, turned around, and went back. But just the thought of that happening in my mind, I'm like, I gotta go, I gotta respond, I gotta help, I gotta find out, make sure everybody's okay. Then I'm just going through in my head all the things that I would have to do if I was at a traffic scene, you know? So I was feeling like I couldn't help. That's what I was feeling like. I knew in my mind what needed to be done, and the fact that I wasn't able to help, which put me into that trigger. So there's many things I could have done in that situation. Perhaps I should have pulled over. But I was in the lane where you really couldn't pull over, and it was a busy highway. It was busy at that time of the day. So what I did is I used a coping statement, and I basically said, I am safe, I am retired, I am no longer working in the high Arctic, and I would say that over and over and over again. Now, with a coping statement, with the wise mind, it's something that you're changing that belief, right? So you really have to believe it. And you also have to utilize these coping skills on a consistent basis, because if you don't, you're going to lose that energy that you put into building these tools to begin with. Another tool that I'd like to use is visualization. Now, obviously, there has to be a time and a place for this. It's not a good time to utilize visualization when you're driving on the highway, for example. But say you're in the grocery store or you're in a shopping mall. We'll say pre-COVID times, because even going shopping now for not only myself, but anybody is probably more so anxious going into a store where there's lots of people. So pre-COVID, let's just say, you're going into a store and say something triggered you, whatever that might be. I can give you an example. Let's just say that I was in the parking lot and I was in the midst of going into Costco, and there was an ambulance that came onto the scene, still had its sirens on, into the parking lot. So what did I do? I sat in my vehicle. I did not get out. I know that might seem like I'm avoiding it, but it's a way of calming myself down, because I'm also utilizing the visualization. So what I'll do is I will just do this with my fingers so that it kind of numbs the sound. And then I will visualize my safe place. So for visualization, well, for this particular type of visualization, you need to have a safe place, whatever that might be. My safe place, where I would go just to stay calm, it's about a 4.5 kilometer hike. In the middle of the hike, you're fairly high above sea level, and it has a beautiful view of the ocean and the mountains. It's just gorgeous. And noise, there's a slight wind there. You can see killer whales in the strait there, and you hear all the sounds of nature, and it's just gorgeous up there any time of the year. So that's where I'll go. I will actually visualize myself walking to where my safe spot is, sitting down on the rock there, and then just looking out into the beauty. And that works. It calms me down. It brings my heart rate down. And I may do that for a little bit. Who knows? I mean, I may sit in that state for a bit. It's however long I need to be in that state. Another tool is called Incantations. And what they are, they're similar to affirmations, but the difference between affirmations, and affirmation meaning it's something that you want to believe in, and that you would say it over and over and over again. And eventually, the idea is you're going to believe it. Your subconscious mind is going to take that on. However, from my experience, it doesn't work that well as the incantations do. I was involved in Unleash the Power Within conference with Tony Robbins probably about a month ago, and this is one of the techniques I learned from him, and I'm doing it on a regular basis now. So what I do is I will look in the mirror every morning, and before I go to bed at night, I will say affirmations, but the difference would be that I am saying it with my physiology as well. So I'm using my physiology as well as my mind and my heart to speak the actual affirmation, which is technically an incantation. So there has been studies shown that utilizing your physiology when you're speaking about affirmations will make it real for your subconscious mind. So I'm just going to pretend that you're the mirror, and I will show you exactly what I do. So here we go. Good morning. I love you. I am worth it. I can do this. Great things are going to happen to me. It is so possible. I am deserving of the abundance of extreme wealth, joy, and romance. I am a winner. I am a leader. I will lead, I am enough, not follow. I will create, not destroy. I will believe, not doubt. I am a force of good. I defy the odds. I set new standards, and I step up. So that's it. That's what I do. I do it every morning and every night. And it's such a better way to start your day than to wake up and go, I don't want to get up. I don't want to start my day. I don't want to do this. I've got all these meetings today. You know, I got appointments, I just want to stay in bed, I'm tired, da 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 da. No. I get out of bed and I say my incantations and I carry on with my morning routine, which will be another YouTube video down the road. Another coping tool that I will use involves your five senses. It's called 5-4-3-2-1. I have used this a few times, more so when I'm in an area where I feel like I'm claustrophobic. Like I feel like there's a lot of people around me and I'm not able to get out of that situation right then, right now. I've used it at airports. Again, I've used it at, in malls, and whenever I can use it where it's safe for me to do so. So the five senses include sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. So what I would do here is I would say, okay, for sight, what are 5 things that I can see that's in front of me? And you can go even specifically. You can say, name 5 things that have the color of red. Name 4 things that you can touch. And you could say something like, well, I can feel my feet in my shoes. I can feel my feet in my shoes touching the ground. I can feel my lower back touching the back of the chair, like that sort of thing, right? Name 3 things that you can hear. Name 2 things that you can smell. And 1 thing that you can taste. I promised you 5 things, but I want to give you 1 more. And this one is probably the easiest to do. I find I will use this if I am flushed, meaning that I have so many emotions, so many feelings that are flushing my system right now, that I've gone into the flight, freeze, fight, faint aspect. So what it is really, it's a form of grounding. It's utilizing your sense of touch, which is great because again, what it does is it brings you back into reality, because now you're able to feel something and focus on that specific thing. This is a challenge coin. It's a challenge coin for first responders that to support PTSD, mental health. At any rate, you can use like a challenge coin, you can use a quarter, a loonie. You want it to be fairly big in size, so just that you can really feel the embedded grooves in it and whatnot. And I just keep it in my pocket, or I can keep it in my hand and nobody has any idea what you're doing. And just feeling the grooves, and that'll get me back down. Another thing you can use, if you have like prayer beads, spiritual beads, that sort of thing. I will literally just take it off my wrist and just play with it like this. Another great grounding tool is a rock. Just a flat rock. You can get it at the beach or in the forest or wherever the case may be. This one actually has love on it. You can get those spiritual stones too if that's something that you're interested in. And again, I've got this great rock, and what it is, it's really smooth, and it's got lots, as you can see, it's got lots of little grooves in it as well. And it's really good for just feeling it. You can just feel it on your thumb. If you don't have any grounding tools on you, such as that, you can use your car keys. You can use a ring, like anything that you have on you. If you're wearing a bracelet or whatnot, just feel that anything. It's just basically you're using the sense of touch, and you're feeling the material, the grooves, whatever it is of that particular item. But what you're doing is you're taking your mind off of your worries and your past, your behaviors, and you're putting it all towards the present by focusing on one specific thing that you can utilize with your senses to take you out of that trigger. It works. It's just finding the particular tool that would work for you. There's so many out there. You can actually Google, anxiety tools, and you'll get tons of different tools you can utilize. It's really about just finding the right one that works for you. Now, if you happen to have tools that you're using right now, certainly comment below. I would love to hear them. I might even be able to use them myself. I'm always looking for different ways to decrease my anxiety, particularly when I'm out in public. And that would be great to hear from you. If you like this video, please click on the like button and the notifications so that you can be notified when a new video comes out. I wish you a wonderful evening, afternoon, or morning to wherever you are in this beautiful world. Be safe.